Hi, and welcome back here on the Senior Network. I'm your host, Greg Fulton. I'm now joined by Neil Hunnicutt, Director of Community Relations with Right at Home. Good to see you, Neil.
It's nice to be here, Greg. Thanks for inviting me.
Oh, by all means. Well, we were talking earlier, and through the pandemic and all the things that we're all dealing with, there's some light here at the end of the tunnel. I think that things are changing a little bit. Tell us about your business and what you're seeing.
Yeah, you're absolutely correct. Things are changing. In the very beginning of the pandemic, you know, we're all, the entire world is obviously this our country. We're learning. We've been learning how to deal with this and how to stop this transmission, and it's changed a lot of the business models. It's really gotten everybody to sit down and think about safety first.
Yeah.
We've always thought that way, but it really makes you do it now. So, but there was a lot of fear and anxiety in the beginning, and it's still there, but what helps it is being prepared.
Yeah. And when you say fear, maybe of aides and caregivers and people coming into their home,
That's
right?
correct.
Right.
That's correct. Just being concerned about, you know, the fact that, you know, especially if you're sitting at home like a lot of our seniors do and a lot of us do, and we're watching the news.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's not good, you know, because it creates more anxiety, and you worry about the virus and what's going to happen. And so what we've been able to do is get out there and educate a lot of our seniors, a lot of the folks, the family members who live out of state, that we're prepared, that we've planned, we've trained caregivers. We have the personal protective equipment. You'll hear PPE, it's a term you hear. And what that means is we're making sure that when we go into these homes that we're protecting not only the caregiver but the client and from the spread of the virus, but we can do the same things we've always been doing.
Exactly.
And they need it.
Yeah. And I think you said it right there. I know Right at Home, you guys spend a lot of time, or we spend a lot of time with that training aspect. And that gives the aides and caregivers also the confidence that they're able to go into a home, correct?
Absolutely.
They feel like they really are safe.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right, because as you can imagine, I mean, I would be in the same boat. You know, of course, we're not frontline, what I would call frontline caregivers. You know, my job, you know, takes me into homes, but I'm not doing personal care.
Right.
A lot of our frontline caregivers, just like nurses and doctors or whoever in the hospitals, they're frontline, they're dealing with this. You know, their anxieties have to be a lot higher.
Yeah.
It gives them confidence when they're properly trained and they know they have the right equipment to go in and take care of people. Confidence is the key, and the education and the training is the key.
Yeah. Well, Neil, for the viewers that don't know, you're obviously a licensed social worker, and so I know you educate a lot of families up front. So the scenario, if you've got a viewer that's thinking about this and interested and would love to sit down with you, that's something that you're still going out and visiting people, or virtual, whatever they're comfortable with, right?
You got it. You hit it right on the head. We do both.
Okay.
The first thing I do is I let them know right away that it is safe. I'll come over, I'll meet
with
them.
your own equipment.
That's right. I'll come over with my mask and gloves or whatever they prefer.
Sure.
We'll sit down in their living room. We'll sit down in a public setting outside, or we can do it virtually, and we go over all of the questions that you just talked about right there, those concerns, and then not only that, but what we can actually do to help them and get these caregivers in the homes. Because right now what I'm seeing over the last several months is where we had a lot of that anxiety. People now they're getting a little frustrated because they've been, you know, we had the stay-at-home orders, which those have been lifted, but we still have a lot of people that are staying with their loved ones, and they need a break.
Yeah.
And they need us to come back in, and we have to be the ones to educate and show them, you can go back to work, you can go back to your life, and we can still make this happen for you.
Exactly. And from the level of care, tell us a little bit for the people that don't know. I mean, I know you've got companion, personal care, and all these labels, but kind of give them an idea of the ranges.
Absolutely. So we can do anything from helping someone who is struggling, you know, they're struggling driving, and they really don't need to be driving anymore.
Yeah.
But they're doing okay with everything else. But we do from that level of companion, a transportation, going to shopping, safety, cooking some meals for them, to someone who's totally bedbound.
Right.
It runs the entire range, and we can provide that person care to the end of life.
Right.
So it just runs the entire range. And what we do is we specifically go in, we develop a plan of care for each person, along with the family, the physicians, the home health company that might be in there, to get them exactly the caregiver they need.
And I know you Right at Home specializes a lot in 24-hour care, so the viewers that may be hesitant, not wanting to move into a facility with this pandemic, tell us a little bit about that option.
Yeah, we're doing that quite a bit.
Yeah.
We're getting a lot of families. Again, we talked about the anxieties of going into a lot of the communities, because you hear everywhere that a lot of the communities are basically locked down at this point.
Sure.
And you're just concerned. They want to stay home. They have more control, they feel like, in their own home settings of what they do. We are doing that quite often. We build a plan of having someone in there all the time.
Yep.
And it's a fresh person. We get someone every 12 hours. And the reason we do that is because we don't want to have as many caregivers going in. That's why we don't do the 8-hour shifts.
Right.
Because with people, especially if they have dementia or something going on, you want to get some continuity and consistency. And so we do that often, and we build a plan so that they can have around-the-clock care. That family knows that there's someone with them at all times, doing all of the services that we talked about, from the personal care, the transportation, the meal preparation. So they have basically like their own concierge in their home that can help take care of them.
Absolutely. Great information, Neil. I always appreciate it. That's all the time we have, but I do appreciate you being here.
Thank you.
Please email us any comments, questions you may have, and I want to thank you all for joining us here on the Senior Network, where senior care experts come together. We'll see you the next time.